Shabbat Shalom. I hope that even in these challenging times, you all enjoyed a healthy and happy Pesach. Our Parsha describes one of the most tragic incidents in the Torah, the death of our own sons, Nadav and Avihu. Yet after they are killed, as they are bringing what the Torah describes as a strange fire in the Mishkan, Moshe immediately tells Aaron not to mourn. Aaron is not allowed to rent his garments or leave his hair uncut. He has to continue on, carrying out the avodah. Later, though, in our Parsha, Aaron refrains from eating a korban chata, a sin offering, as he would normally be expected to do. And Moshe asks him why. Aaron responds by saying, "Would it be right for me to eat this offering after I have lost loved ones?" The Torah seems to be telling us here that Aaron's individual sense of loss and suffering cannot be allowed to override the communal sense of joy that was felt as the Mishkan was being inaugurated. But at the same time, privately, there had to, of course, be a space where Aaron could express the true emotions he felt, where he could release those feelings of sorrow. In private, he wasn't compelled to carry on as if everything was normal. This story and this lesson parallels what the Gemara tells us in Moed Katan about an avel, a mourner, on Chol Moed. If a person loses someone and they are buried during Chol Moed, the person immediately becomes an avel, but they are not allowed to exhibit any of the public signs of mourning. In private, they can express their sorrow and their loss, but in public, they're not allowed to express that sense of avelus. Their individual sorrow and mourning can't be allowed to override and impinge on our communal joy during Chol Moed. There is a careful balance between the emotions of the community and the emotions of an individual. Sharing emotions, having a shared emotional space, is the essence of what it means to be connected as a community. On Monday evening and on Tuesday, we will observe Yom HaShoah. It is a day of tremendous sadness and mourning, felt especially intensely, of course, by all those who lost loved ones in the Shoah. But it is also a day on which all of us mourn, even those of us who did not lose any direct family in the Shoah. We mourn intensely for each of the 6 million that were killed, each one of whom deserves to have their name read and acknowledged. And we also mourn for what we lost as a people. Our shared emotional experience brings us together. It connects us and unites us. To live fully as a Jew means to mourn on Yom HaShoah, to mourn on Yom HaZikaron, Israel's Day of Remembrance, and to mourn on Tisha B'Av, for the temple that was destroyed 2,000 years ago. And it also means that we celebrate on the Hagim, that we rejoice at our festive times. To live as a Jew means to share these emotional experiences. We connect over our shared loss, and we connect at times over our shared joy. In the coming weeks, there will be 3 moments, 3 days, in which we normally share emotions, share an emotional space, as well as share a physical space. On Yom HaShoah, on Yom HaZikaron, and on Yom HaAtzmaut, when we celebrate Israel's Independence Day. This year, we will not be able to share a physical space on any of those days, which makes it especially important that we find ways of connecting and sharing an emotional space on those days, that we find ways together of mourning, and also then on Yom HaAtzmaut, that we share and find ways to celebrate and express our joy. May God bless us that in the coming days, months, and years, we have many more reasons to want to share joy than any other emotion. Shabbat Shalom.